So welcome to workout 2. More upper back work on this one, more pull mechanics, posterior chain. So again, because we're doing this without much weight, without much equipment, we're having to be a little bit more inventive, so some of the exercises might be completely new to you. Give them a go, make sure that you stick to the tempos, make sure that you follow the guidelines that are given in this video and that are written on the workout as well. So we're going to start with a 30-second ISO hold for your upper back. All this one's going to be is that you put your weight into your forearms and really drive your arms back to elevate your body off the floor. We're going to hold that for 30 seconds. So how it's going to look, feet on the floor, arms in, and just really drive, really squeezing that upper back in together and just holding this position. You might need to rest every 10 seconds or so, and then again drive through, squeezing nice and strong in your upper back. We're going to go for between 20 and 30 seconds on that one. And again, this is down to you thinking about really driving those arms into the floor, making sure that you're in a solid position. Once you've done, we're going to go into a towel row. Now, I don't have a towel with me, but basically this is anything that's not going to bend and stretch as you pull. So ideally, yes, you can use resistance bands if needed, but ideally something that's not going to change length as you pull. What we're going to do, grab it quite narrow. So ideally around shoulder width or just inside. And you're going to straight away start to pull apart. So start to pull this apart. It's not going to move, but again, you're doing that by switching this upper back on. And all it's going to be is keeping that tension, pulling apart. We're going to drive your elbows out to help it come up. Hold, 2 seconds back down. Again, 1, 2, 2 second hold, and 2 back down. You don't need to hold at the bottom, but you might want to reset your shoulders, reset that position. And again, this is helping you to develop strength in every position along that pull. One thing that's quite important on that one is that the elbows are coming outwards as you row up rather than backwards. All right, so we're trying to drive those elbows out and back in, but keeping a nice solid grip on the towel, the TRX, whatever it is that you're using. Right guys, so moving on, again, all the sets, reps, tempos, yes, it's there as a guide, but if you need to adjust it, that's fine. Just try to make sure that you're keeping an accurate record of what you're doing. Now this one is starting with a bit more of a mobility, more of a floor type exercise, then we're going to go into some hamstring and glute strength. So what this one is, 3 exercises together. We're going to start with a tabletop overhead reach. So we started working on this in the last phase. If you're getting the movement right, you should be fairly comfortable now moving on. If you need to, you can just stick with the tabletop bridge where it's just squeeze up and back through. Difference on this one, we're going to turn the hands out. So you're going to bridge up, and from there, we're going to reach over, back in, down, bridge and reach, and back through, down, bridge and reach. It's a great mobility exercise just to get your body moving in different ways. Really good for shoulder strengthening as well. But again, make sure you're confident to go to that level before you do. If you're still not quite sure that you'll be able to hold your body weight on one shoulder, then obviously don't give it a go and stick to the regress version. Now, as soon as you've done 10 reps on that, we can start to work strength. So again, hamstring slides, the same as we had for the last phase. If you're feeling like you're able to take them to a little bit more of a difficult level, great, we can keep you off the floor all the way through. But what this is going to look like, come to the side so it's a bit easier. Ideally, what it's going to be is from here, arms out, squeeze really tight, really strong bridge position with your glutes. Drive out, 3, 2, 1. If you're feeling strong enough to stay from there, squeeze back in. Strong position again with your glutes. 3, 2, 1. If not, let yourself come all the way down. Slide 1 foot up at a time. Squeeze up again and just work the eccentric phase. So again, guys, working through that. Advanced exercises, so there's different levels. Before we finish this set, we're going to go into a single leg bridge. So all that's going to be is still down on the floor. It's going to be 1 foot up. Keep this foot working leg fairly close to your glutes. So you want it ideally a vertical shin at the top of the movement. One thing that's important on this, rather than being relaxed through your body, I'm going to crunch up and really squeeze that position.
What I'm going to do is have my hands here just to help stabilise, but you can have your hands over your chest as well. So it's just going to be from there, driving this foot in, hip as high as you can. Make sure that you're actively squeezing your glute at the top, slowly down, squeeze up again, actively squeeze at the top, slowly down, back up again.
4 rounds on that, and then we'll move on. So moving on from that, we're going to keep in some exercises from the last phase now, because I know that a lot of people, although they were finding them fairly comfortable, need a little bit more guidance on technique with these. So it's going to be a single leg RDL, which you can add load to on this phase if you want, and it's going to be an overhead good morning. Really important points with this. So I'll show you the RDL first, because it's going to be the first exercise obviously in the workout for you. What I want you to think about is your hip positioning. So a lot of people, even though they were keeping this foot pointed down, were rolling over onto the hip, so more like an airplane position. So again, you can add a weight to this one, you don't need to, but if you're going to add a weight, I want it in the opposite hand to the leg that's down. I want your hips to stay pretty much as level as they can. So if there was a laser on the front of your hip, it's going to be pointing down all the way through as you come out. Down we go, big stretch, squeeze back up from this point. Down we go, straight through, again, hip pointing downwards, squeeze back up. What you tend to find, and what we were seeing a lot during the last phase, whether there was weight used or not, was that as people came down, they kept the foot pointed down because that's the cue that we'd give, but they were turning the foot in, so the hips were actually stacking on top of each other. We're wanting to avoid that. So if you can't keep your hips level throughout this movement, or close to level throughout this movement, I want you to regress it, find something to hold on to, and just really work on building strength in those positions. Similar sort of thing with the overhead good mornings. What we were finding is that a lot of people were finding it quite comfortable, quite an easy movement, but what was happening is that we didn't have this overhead range, so it was a much more relaxed position about here, which is fine, and again, a bit too much of a posterior tilt as we were coming down, so it was a little bit more like this, and then back up. So there might have been a little bit of loading on that lower back, which is fine, but your glutes, your upper back won't have been getting anywhere near the sort of challenge that they could have been getting from that movement. So what I want you to do, really work on that, and really drag nice and high, and we're going to focus from here on keeping really strong in that upper back position. So focusing on that upper back, staying strong. First thing that we need to do is make sure that you get a good hinge position as you start this movement. Rather than just collapsing over or bending your legs too much into a squat, it's going to be a hinge position. So hips come back, working through that, and drive up from your glutes. Hips back, really driving them hips out and up, and then in from there, all right? The movement itself, the reason that I'm not loading that is that the movement itself is difficult. So if you're not getting the positioning right, it's going to feel a hell of a lot easier. If you get the positioning right without any load, any weight, it's going to be more difficult. So guys, give those a go between 2 and 3 sets, and we'll finish off with some calves. Right guys, so last thing to finish, working some calves. Again, if you feel like you need to, you can put a finisher to the end of this workout as well. You'll find them on Facebook. But for now, really trying to target this area. What we're going to do is go into a single leg calf raise. Now ideally you'll have a step or anything that can act to the step. You can go straight from the floor if needed. I'm going to show you from the step today. All it's going to be, again next to the wall is probably a little bit easier because you don't need to worry about balance, which means that you can focus a little bit more on really targeting that muscle. All it's going to be, come up, I'm going to hold the top position for 10 seconds. Just squeezing that position. Once you've done, slowly lower down and up. 2 to 3 seconds down, 1 back up. You're going to get 15 full reps on this if you can. Once you've finished your 15, you're going to hold that top position for another 10 seconds and then switch legs. Guys, if you're struggling with that, do both legs together, try and build into that. So that's the end of workout 2. This workout has a great opportunity for you to build strength, build muscle, also build mobility, stability throughout the joint. So it gives you a little bit of everything. Obviously no barbells or anything like that involved, just body weight. You can add a few bits of equipment if needed to get through some of the movements like the single leg or the odds. But hopefully you've found that fine. Please make sure that you leave a comment so that we know how you're getting on with it. And guys, as always, if you're uncomfortable with an exercise, please film it, send it me, and I'll fire you back some feedback just to allow you to get the most out of every workout that you do. Feel free to drop onto one of the finishes after this workout. Just add that in as and when you feel like you need it. But guys, I'll see you next time.